Hello, my name's Giles from photography and Photoshop courses.com. Today we're going to have a look at masking and using adjustment layers to bring out more drama in an image. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to a basic selection tool, which is the quick selection tool, and we're going to use our right bracket key and we're going to make the brush size a little bit bigger, about there, and we can also adjust that up here as well. And then we're going to click and drag, holding down and drag over the rock like so. Where we get to another bit, we'll just lift up the cursor and then click and drag again. Where we've gone over the edge, not to worry, we can hold down the Alt key and you can see that all option on a Mac, and then we can just click and drag and rub out that selection like that. So that gives us a fairly simple mask. We might just take out some bits in the middle there, and with that we're going to go to new adjustment layer at the bottom, which is that round pizza shaped icon, and we're going to choose curves, and the curve dialog box pops up, and we're going to bring that midtones, so we're adding a point in the middle and dragging it up, and we can see straight away that we've brought out these rocks. What you'll notice now in the layers palette is that we've got a new adjustment layer floating on top. With a double click on the curve adjustment icon, you can see that's the change we've made, and then there's a link icon, and then there's the mask. Now what's happened is we've made a selection, and then by choosing an adjustment layer it automatically masks out the selection we've made for us. And the good analogy, or a cheesy one but it's good to remember, is that black conceals and white reveals. So in this case the white area, the rocks, is revealing what it's linked to. In this case it's the curves lightning effect that we've chosen here, and the black area is being concealed, i.e. it's not being affected by what it's linked to. So with that in mind, that will really help remember how masking operates. What we're going to do next is just create a little folder. So we're going to click on the folder, and then we're going to click on the mask to select it, and we can see that it's selected because it has these bracket keys around the corners, and I'm going to click and drag, and now it's in its own folder, and then we're going to click and drag the adjustment layer into that folder, and then I'm going to double click on that, and I'm just going to call it L Rocks. So L for Lighten Rocks. Why have I put it in a folder? Well, what that does, it means that we can carry on adding adjustment layer effects inside that folder and only have to use one mask. Obviously reusing masks is not only saves time but also helps with accuracy if you come to modify them later. So just for example, we'll just add a new adjustment layer and we'll just call it curves, and this time, just to be different, we'll go to the blue channel and we'll just pull that down, and we can see we've made the rock yellow, and we'll play around and we'll add a little bit of red just to make them more sort of pinky like so. Okay, I'll turn it down a little bit. There we go. So, and if we've done it too much, we can just take the opacity down like so. So select the adjustment layer and take the opacity down like that. What else can we do? Well, we can Alt or Option click on the mask itself, and we can see we've got a few little errors here. We've got this line here, and also we've got quite a hard edge. Now the hard edge works well here, but for around here we might want to soften it where the water is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our brush tool, and then this time we're going to choose black as the foreground color. If it's not black, we can either press this little icon here and that'll revert back to its black and white state. If it's not black in the foreground, we just press the double arrow and it flips to black. We're then going to choose a soft brush, so make sure this cursor is to the left, and then we're going to move the size of the brush up a little bit. We can also do that with our bracket keys on the keyboard. Right bracket key makes the brush bigger, left bracket key makes the brush smaller, and then we're going to close that. We're going to hold down Alt or Option and click on the mask, and then we're just going to move our opacity up to 100%, and we're just going to brush out that little line there like so. Now what can we do with these bits here? Well, there's a few options we could do. We could try and make, if we zoom in on it, so we can hold down the control key and the space bar, and that'll allow us to move and zoom in, and then we can also hold down the space bar, which is a shortcut for the hand tool, which allows us to pan around at quite a high zoom factor. So we can see here straight away we've got some issues here with masking. Probably one way we could fix that again is to use a soft brush, and if we want to go the other way, we just press X on the keyboard. That flips from black to white as the foreground color, and now it's white. It's revealing what it's linked to. So what we're doing here, we're just going around some of these edges with a softer brush, and if we want to flip back to black, we can do so, and this gives us a little bit more room for maneuver. And if we want something in between, we just take the opacity down, so we're just panning around, holding down a space bar, letting go. That jumps back to the tool, which is the brush tool, and so on. Up here is okay because we want it quite a hard edge around the top, and there's a little bit of, just brush that back in. Otherwise that's not so bad. Right, there we go. So we've got a lightened rock. So what else can we do? Well, we can maybe add some more drama to the sky. So we're going to create a new adjustment layer. We're going to click on this adjustment icon, and then we're going to choose curves again, and this time we're going to pull down. So we're pulling down in the mid-tones, right in the middle, and then this time we're going to invert this to black. So we can do that by selecting on the mask and pressing Control or Command I, and then this time we're going to choose the gradient tool, which sits behind the paint bucket tool. Normally it's on that one, and we can just choose it there. Make sure we're on black and white. If not, you can click up here and choose black and white, and then we're going to click and drag, and then we'll hold down the shift key, which actually snaps it into a straight line. And we can see we've done it, but we've done it the wrong way around. So we could either redraw that by clicking and dragging upwards, or we could just invert the mask by going Control I or Command I. And you can see, let's do it a little bit more. So I'm just moving the starting point lower down, and you can see that the gradient shifts further down, so depending on how far you want to go. So let's go right down here, and you can see we've actually affected the rock here, which is fine, but we may not want to do that, in which case we can just drag it into our folder that we created already. And now what it's doing is it's sitting inside our folder with the mask, so it's only affecting the rock. What we need to do, I'll go backwards, we need an inverse mask for that. So the way we create that is to do a new folder, and then we can reuse this mask, and we hold down the Alt or Option key and click and drag, and it copies the mask, and now it's dropped it into a new folder. We're then going to drag our gradient adjustment curve into, click and drag and drop it into the folder. This time we're going to invert that mask. So we're going to click and select it and go Control or Command I. That's better. Now what we wanted to do is just affect the background, and we've done that by an inverse mask, which is white in the background, and then we've got the darken gradient behind it. So we're now independently adjusting the background, the rock, and then we can go ahead and perhaps, if we wanted to, we can just maybe make another curves layer here, again clicking and drag upwards. And then if we wanted to do a bit more freeform painting, we could just invert to black, and then we could go ahead with a soft brush, so just right bracket key, nice and big, take the hardness down to 0, maybe the opacity quite low here, 22, that's fine, and then choose white as the foreground, maybe a little bit more, and then this gives us a little bit more control over how we might want to lighten and darken areas in the image. Now if we make a mistake or we think there's a little bit of a halo effect, no problem, we can just press X on the keyboard, flip to black and paint some of it back out again. So if we wanted to bring out the boat a little bit, certain areas of the sky, take the opacity right down inside that. And so on. Now this is obviously acting independently at the moment because it's not sitting inside a folder. But you get the idea. And then the beauty of adjustment layers, we could double click on this and we could go ahead and dial up and down if we so desired, and move it, slide it up. We can see we're creating much more dramatic effect, and maybe a little bit much on the boat now, so we can just switch to black, brush some of it out, and there you have it. So I'll just select these, shift click, let's drag these all into a folder, and then I'll switch it on and off, so before, after, and then we want it again, go ahead and adjust things. We can switch things on and off, take things back, and so forth. And you can see now there's much more drama in the image, and we could go ahead and make any corrections we want. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and don't forget to check out the other tutorials on photography and photoshop courses.com. Thank you. Bye.